Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I'm Sarah. On today's tutorial, we are going to be learning how to make this jumbo pants. If that's something you're interested in, come with me and let's get started. Also, do not forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thank you. This is the fabric that I'm going to be using, and I'm going to be using 3 yards of this. I'm also going to be using an elastic for the waistband part of it. I've already gone ahead to fold my fabric into two, and when I go to measure for the first part, which is the front part, I have 18 inches. So what I did was my hip measurement plus 7 inches. You can go ahead and do 8 or 9 depending on how big you want this to be, right? So I'm going ahead to first mark out a line that I will use as my start line, and then from that line I would measure up by 2 inches. The reason why I'm doing this is because the band that I'm going to be using for my pants are going to be 2 inches wide. So the next thing I'm going to do is from that part go ahead to mark out my hip measurement, so the difference from my waist to my hip. The start line is where your waist will typically be, and you go from there to measure where your hip line is going to be. I'm going to go ahead and mark that out, and I'll also go ahead from the hip line to mark out where my crotch measurement is. So on a norm I would mark out 2.5, but because this is going to be a really big pant, I'm going to go ahead and mark out like 4 or 3 inches below. So I did 3. You can do 4 if you want to. And the reason why I'm saying you can do 4 is, remember that this is a really big pant, so you do not want the crotch area to be sinking into you every single time. So you could go ahead and do 4 or 3 depending on how big or small your body type is. I did 3 because I'm not really on the big side, but you could do 4 if you so choose. From the part where I have my crotch line now, I'm coming in by 3 inches, and I will do the same at the top here. The reason why we're doing that is we're going to use this line as a guide to get our crotch curve in place. Now that we've done that, I'm just going to go ahead and use my French curve to make a curve from that point to that point. There we have it, our crotch is set. The next thing we're going to do is get our length line. Now the length of your pants is dependent on you and how you want it to be. If you want it to kiss the floor, you could go ahead and add as much inches as you want, but right now I'm going to be using length 44, and I'm going to go ahead and mark the same thing on the other side, making sure that I have a straight line when I go ahead to use my straight rule to put this together, right? So basically this is length 44. I have length 43 and I added 1 inch for hemming allowance. Now that we've got that, the next thing we're going to do is go ahead on the center front, and I'm going to go in by 1.5 inch at the waistline part, and I'll use my hip curve to put it together. So I'll take it from that point and take it all the way down to my hip line. Now that we have that, we're going to go ahead to cut. See how I did not take anything in, because this is going to be as free as it gets, and I do not want any comers on this. So this is what it's going to look like. Now that we've gotten the front part of it, we're going to go ahead and cut out the back. So what I did was place the front part onto another fabric actually to get the back part, and I'm going out on the crotch area, just lining my crotch line, and I'm also going to go out by 3 inches. You guessed it right. So the next thing I'm going to do after that is come to this part where I have my hip line and go out by 2 inches, and I also do the same at the waistline area. So the only place that gets have 3 inches space is the crotch area. So I'll just use my French curve to make a curve from that point to meet the hip line area, and that's what it's going to be, right? The next thing we're going to do, which is really important and I need you to pay attention, at the back here I'm going to rule out my waistline first of all, and then take that line, that 2 inches line, all the way to the top. From that part where we have our waistline, I went up by 1.5 inch. Why I did that is because you do not want to sit and your bum shows. So whether you're using an elastic or not, you go up by 1.5 inch or 1 inch, right? Depending on like your bum size. And you see how I just went ahead to slant it back into the line. That's what you're supposed to do. So I just did the whole 3 inches all the way to the bottom part because I want this to be as free as possible, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut. Now that we've gone ahead to do that, we have the front and the back. I'm going to go ahead to my sewing machine and just sew this by 1/2 inch at the crotch area for both of them. I've gone ahead to do that now, and this is what it's looking like. So let's go ahead to focus on the front because we're going to be adding pockets to this. So I'm going to go ahead from the top of the trouser pants. I'm going to mark out 7.5 inches there, and that is very important. So now that I've done that, I'm just going to go ahead and notch that part. Just give it a little notch, not too much, not too less. Let's go ahead and cut the pocket for this. So for the pocket, I did a length of 15 and wideness of 8. What I'm doing here is going ahead to mark out that same 7.5 inches, and then at the top here I will come in by 2 inches. And the reason why I'm doing this is so I know where I'm supposed to end on the pocket part, on the pants part as well. And this 2 inches will just be so when I fold it, it lands where it's supposed to be. You can just make this curve how you want it to be and then go ahead and cut it. I actually have a video up on how to attach the pockets to the pants, and it is well explained, so I will put a link up here so you can go ahead and watch it. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead now and attach my pockets. I will come back and show you what it looks like. These are what the pockets look like, and I've gone ahead to attach everything I need to attach, and I'm just going to go ahead now and place the back piece onto the front piece and sew on the sides by 1 inch. And then at the bottom here, I will put both sides together, making sure that the edges meet, and I will close it by 1/2 inch. Make sure to use your pin here because pinning it will make sure that it doesn't move too much or go anywhere. I need to make sure that your work comes out neat. So at the bottom here, you're sewing by 1/2 inch, and at the sides, you're sewing by 1 inch. Yes. Now that we've done that, this is what we have. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and cut out our band. But before we do that, you see that at the back I opened it up so that when we attach our band, we are going to attach it to a particular place, and then we'll go ahead to close that part in. This is what our band is going to look like. I went ahead to cut 4 inches, and then I went to fold the sides by 1/2 inch. I hope you understand what I just said. Basically, go ahead and measure round for the pants, and then add like 2, 3, or 4 inches so you have enough left over. The next thing we're going to do is fix our band onto our pants, and then go ahead to close out the back part that we opened so the band can sit perfectly. Now that we've done that, this is what it's looking like so far. Next thing we're going to do after this is to add our elastic. So this is the elastic that I'm going to be using, and let me tell you what I did here. So what I did here was I went ahead to measure my waist measurement, and then I removed like 3 inches. You can go ahead and remove 4 inches if you want, but that's up to you. You know that this has like a rope thing to it, right? So what we're going to do here is on both sides we're going to go out by 1 inch on both sides, and we're basically going to create like a buttonhole. The next thing we're going to do is just go ahead and loosen those parts where you want to fix the buttonhole. Fix the buttonhole and then go back ahead to close it. This is the rope that I'm going to be using. I made it as long as possible. It's not 60, it's like 100 and something. Then you can go ahead and cut some off if you feel it's too much. That will be after you've already attached it to the pants. But let's go into the buttonhole now. So we've done the buttonhole, and I've also gone ahead to pass my elastic through, and I've gone ahead to close it. I also went ahead to pass the rope through where it's supposed to go through. I used the safety pin for that. So you use your safety pin and then you pass it through the openings that you made for it, and this is what it looks like, y'all. I like the fit. I like how it came out. I like how everything came out. Yeah, that will be the end of the tutorial. I hope you get to try this out for yourself, and I hope you love the process of making yours as much as I have enjoyed the process of making mine. With that being said, y'all, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Don't forget to turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified when I post a new video. Don't forget to love yourself because I love you. Have a beautiful day or night, whichever it is you live for. Bye.